everybody just going opposite direction.
It's been 45 degrees every day, and I get to wear, that's why I'm wearing shorts today. I have to wear long pants, long sleeve shirts, and these coveralls most of the time when I'm outside. It sucks, but you know, it's good to be here. I shot a movie here last year, actually. I was in Hamilton, and there you go. Now you guys know in Hamilton, the Toronto people, when I said I was shooting in Hamilton, they went, "Oh, I'm sorry." But I had a good time in Hamilton. I had a good time.
In Hamilton was
what is this? What is this here for?
I don't know. I think we
big panel. Was I supposed to bring the cast of Hercules and Andromeda with me? Would have been good. Would have been good. Xena. It's our lesbian spin-off show. We're very proud of that. You know, I haven't seen Lucy in a while. I know she's back in New Zealand full time, but it's been a long time. But you know, it's life. You know, Michael Hurst and I still keep in touch. We talk, you know, at least once a month and show pictures of our kids growing up and that we're getting older and stuff like that.
You want to sit down, or?
I don't know what I want to do. I don't feel like, it just feels like we're in prison or something. Should I sit down?
I feel like I'm on stage of the Panther,
really?
You know.
Should I sit? Do a catwalk.
Do what you want.
Do these break if I stand on them?
So you mentioned you shot in Hamilton. Was that the zombie movie?
No, it was called The Santa Suit. It was a nice family movie. It's actually up for the awards coming up next September, October, something. The Canadian awards. I think they're the equivalent of the Emmys.
Gemini's?
Yeah, it's best TV movie in Canada. So The Santa Suit, yay! So hold on this for a second. I got to show you something. I'm not going to show you everything, but in this movie I'm shooting right now, they tattooed me up. It's weird. It's the character. It makes sense. It makes sense. But it's kind of weird to have these tattoos. I feel a little tough going to the gym now.
When people say sometimes they're going straight from the set, they don't really mean it, but you really
are. I wrapped at 1:30 this morning in Austin. I got home. I got 3 hours of sleep, and then I caught the plane to come to Chicago to come here. So I'm here.
Everybody
hasn't changed anything since he's passed. Well, she's passed away now too, but she kept it exactly the same. I sat in his desk. I saw the early replicas of the Enterprise, like the original ones. I said, would he miss one? It was so cool. And to read his notes, I mean, he was a very bright guy, but he admitted the things he didn't know. You would, like the original episodes of Andromeda, that he just had ideas. And you read his ideas, and he gets to things he doesn't know the words for. He just puts in parentheses, he puts tech. Because he always brought on real space aeronautical engineers or somebody else that knew what the hell they were talking about to take care of all that space stuff. And it was cool just to be in that presence of that desk, to realize that office, to see this is where this guy created all these things that have had such a huge impact. I mean, you all know Star Trek only lasted 3 seasons. They pulled it off the air because they thought it was a failure. And obviously they were kind of wrong. And I told Shatner, he'll be here later, I told him many times, I said, you know, my show went 5 years. You know? So, let's talk about that. But,
Patrick Stewart, though, can up you by 2 more years.
We were actually supposed to have a 7-year run on it, and what had happened was Tribune Company out of Chicago that owned it. If any of you guys know the business part of Tribune, they own the Cubs, so you know they're in financial problems. But they went bankrupt. There was all kinds of stuff going on where they had to claim bankruptcy, so they canceled. We were supposed to have 2 more years. They had to cancel our show, even though we were #1 in the States and first run syndication. They canceled Mutant X, which was shot up here in Toronto. They canceled Beastmaster, which they owned, which was shot down in Australia. So they had to cancel all these things, and they've been in bankruptcy court for the last 5-6 years. So it was kind of a bummer. We would have had 7 years out of it. I got down to the last 2 guys for that. They brought me in a number of times for it, and Dean a number of times. And I get a call from the very last audition from Barbara Miller, who was the head of casting at the time over there at Warner Brothers. And she said, "Kevin, you got the part." I flipped out, man. My agent, we went out, we had champagne, boom. The next morning they called and they said they changed their mind. Welcome to the business of Hollywood, seriously. I went from the highest high I could possibly, because I thought it was my big break, to the lowest of lows. Dean makes a better Superman. I made a good Clark Kent with the glasses and stuff like that. It really went to the right guy. But on top of it all, as fate would have it, 6 months later I got Hercules. That show got canned after 3 years, mine went 7. So, I mean, you go out to Hollywood, the odds are against you. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I was in an acting class back in 1991 and 92, and Kevin Costner used to study at that class, and he came in while he was filming The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston. He came and talked to the class, and the first thing he said to us all, he looked around, there was about 60 students in there, and he said, "I hate to burst your bubbles, but none of you are going to have success in this business." And that's why he started his talk with us. We could hear the room just get deflated. But I knew what he was talking about. I knew the reality of it. And at the end of his couple hours, I walked up to him, introduced myself to him, and I said, "You know, Kevin, I get what you said, but you're wrong, because I am going to make it." He said, "Oh, that's good for you, good for you." I said, "No, I am." So 6, 7 years go by, it's 1998, I've been on Hercules for 6 years, and I get invited to play in his golf tournament in Monte Carlo. Him and Prince Albert hosting a golf tournament. I'm going to fly him to Monte Carlo, I'll go. So I go to Monte Carlo, I'm on the driving range, I'll say, Kevin, because he knows me as Kevin Sorbo, the actor who plays Hercules now. He doesn't remember that class. And he walks up to me, we start talking, and I said, "Do you remember the acting coach, Richard Brander?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I was in that class. He came up and talked to us back in The Bodyguard when we were filming that movie." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I remember coming in there." And I said, "Remember you said," before I finished, he went, "You're the guy." And he said, "Well, welcome. You proved me wrong." So, you know, I've had that fire in me since I was 11 years old, and I always knew I'd have success in this business. I don't know why, and I think any of us, if you put your mind to it, I think fear holds us back a lot in our lives, and we're afraid of failure, so we do nothing. And I think you can do anything in this life that you want to. It's just you have to set your mind to it and say, "I'm going to do it," and not put up a little negativity around you, because you're going to get negative stuff all the time. It's easy to say you're not going to make it. It's easy, especially in Hollywood, because most people won't. They just won't.
I think it says something that you actually went up to Costner and said, "I'm going to make it," and maybe that was why you did. I mean, it's hard to separate that stuff out. But both you and he are very interested in physicality, and when you were young, you played a lot of sports.
I did.
Is that part of that competitive spirit?
Oh, sure. There's no question about it. I grew up in Minnesota. I love hockey too, but I hated cold weather, so I played basketball instead. I played football, basketball, baseball, and all that stuff through school and football in college. Played football and basketball, but I think that's part of it. I think there's whenever anybody says to me I can't do something, I kind of have that teenager kicks in. I mean, I guess. So yeah, I'll show you.